Hello everyone, it is I, Riffraff Hornhelm, and I'm back again with another presentation from the Dwarven Vault, and today we have a monster review. And today we're going to talk about the Shadow. No, it's not that guy who goes, who knows what evil lurks in the hearts. It's not that. It's the Shadow. And the Shadow is a creature from the Monster Manual, as used with the original Dungeons & Dragons and Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, or what's currently called 1E. Now, the Shadow is another one of the undead, turnable creatures that are part of the current riff we're doing on reviews when it comes to undead and turnable creatures as we approach Halloween. So what's the Shadow? It's probably one of the most accurate descriptions of a creature anywhere in the Monster Manual. A shadow is exactly that, a shadow. Very, very difficult to detect. 90% likely to avoid detection. That's pretty good. They're not a particularly powerful creature in terms of endurance. They're 3 hit dice plus 3, so 3 plus 3. And they're not a very low armor class creature. It's only about a 7. They're low intelligence. And, of course, they haunt subterranean, dark areas, things where a shadow would be considered to be fairly normal. And they're very deadly on the attack. They're also fairly good on defense. They don't have any innate magical resistance, but sleep, hold, charm spells won't work on it since it's undead. Cold-based spells will also not work on it at all. That's pretty good right there. They're so difficult to see that you need something that's extremely bright, like a continual light spell, to be able to show the fact that they're there and be able to spot where they are so that you can attack them. That's pretty nasty right there. Now, the worst part about a shadow is what they can do to you. A hit from a shadow does 2 to 5 points damage. No big deal, right? And what's 2 to 5? Okay, so that's a 1d4 plus 1. The thing that a hit does as well is it drains a point of strength. Every time it hits you, it drains a point of strength. This isn't a save thing. If you got hit, you're drained a point of strength. If you get to 0 strength, or if the hits take you to 0 hit points from the shadow, it not only will kill you, but you, in turn, will become a shadow as well. Otherwise, shadows are made primarily from manes, which is something we talked about in another review. That's pretty nasty right there. Now, this is not a permanent strength drain. 2 to 8 turns after your encounter with a shadow, you would regain your full strength, assuming you live. Pretty nasty creature. And of course, commensurately, they're not super high, but they're not super low either on the list of creatures that can be turned, but it is turnable. Now, it's unlikely for you to run into a number of these. Yes, you can run into more than one at a time, but the reality is these would be a fairly low number haunting a subterranean, I don't know, it could be a tomb, it could be an underground dungeon, whatever you want it to be from a DM standpoint. But a very nasty creature to deal with. And one that you are not going to fare very well against if you're unable to see it to deal with it. Nasty. Very nasty. In talking to the greater Hornhelm community about this, we talked to some of the DMs, and everybody came back with the same thing. A shadow is a very nasty critter. It is very effective against creatures. The primary reason it's so effective is it's so hard to see. Under those circumstances, they said, really, this is a 5. Even though it's relatively low in endurance, it's still about a 5 because of the fact that it's so hard to actually hit. Something to keep in mind. Talking to the players, I was kind of surprised. They came back and said a 6 or a 7. they really did not like these. The fact that you could not easily spot them and they could still keep on finding and attacking you from the shadows was very disconcerting to people. They'd had some bad experiences with shadows in the past. So I guess I can understand that part of it. It's kind of a mixed bag on this one. This is a creature that on the surface doesn't look that difficult. But in actual encounters, everybody I've spoken to has had difficulties with this. And the primary reason is that it's so easy for these to avoid detection. So getting rid of them, even if you're able to get away from them for a while, doesn't necessarily mean you get rid of them. If you stay in dark areas, they can be following you for an extended period of time and pretty much attack at will. A creature to be very, very wary of, and it definitely pays to have a good cleric in the party who can turn this critter as opposed to having to deal with him in actual combat. So that, my friends, is the Shadow. We hope you found this informative and entertaining and enjoyable. If you did, be so kind as to leave us a like, share with your friends, leave us a comment. By all means, please subscribe. And most of all, come back and see us again real soon. We very much appreciate your kind support. Take care, everyone, and remember, dwarves rock!